row class. We'll probably do another one this summer. We certainly have seen our numbers kind of ebb and flow the past couple of years as our members age out of rowing or pains or hurt their knees or their shoulders, and we have a lot of injuries. And we've had some trouble the past year. It's hard to get boats out consistently. A lot of our members turn to sculling so that you can always get out. So we're hoping that this year will be better and we'll be able to get out for snakes on a regular basis. Anybody who's in town on a given weekend doing anything and wants to go out with us, we usually start mid-April and go through mid-November. We go out, usually try to get out on Saturdays and Sundays, and then during the summer we try to get out on Wednesdays. We'd love to have you come out, but as in a sense, the quality of the rowing varies a lot, and sometimes it's kind of crappy, but you know, we have fun. And we also have a double that you're welcome to, you know, check out and go out on if you want to. If you're interested, you know, the best thing to do is to go to our website, which is it's wbc.org, but it's got something before it. So just search for Williamsburg Boat Club and find us, and you can see what's on the calendar, and then you can also contact us and, you know, find out how to sign up for one of our stalls or anything like that. We've been working a lot with the county, trying to keep them happy. So we run our Learn to Row. We advertise it through their county rec classes, and that gives them credit for offering more stuff. We go to their, you know, recreation fairs, and this morning another club member and I went and coached people on erging. It's very exciting to coach, you know, 68-year-olds on erging who tell you they've been erging for 20 years and they're clearly doing everything wrong, and you're just trying to think, how can I just start to move them to a little bit better form? But it's fun. And I think that it's helping. We have a really positive relationship with the county. We're happy to do whatever we can for the club here. I think our biggest contribution is the porta potty, which we supply every year, mostly because the women in our club are certainly not going to use the woods, and we need to have the porta potty, and we are glad for anybody else who wants to use it as well. So I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone has about the boat club, and you know, and if there's any ideas about how to get better coordination between us and the rowing club, we're happy to do what we can.
Do you have questions for me?
One comment, when the boat club started, was it 04? I think so.
Yeah.
The women rowers used to row with us a lot, especially during the summertime, any of the rowers that were in town, and it was a great dynamic. I think
we went to Rockets Landing in 08, and that was a blast. You guys rowed us.
Yeah.
I got chewed out by a bunch of the rowers. I was trying to learn to row. So.
Did we figure out?
No, now Justin can't hear us, but everyone else can, so I'm not really sure. I'll give Justin's presentation.
Okay.
I don't know what to say about Travis. Have him call you and put him on speakerphone. I don't know.
Well, okay, we're going to go toward the committee proposals. The LinkedIn alumni mentoring. You said you could.
Yeah, I'll pull that up. Sorry.
Pull that up.
I'm trying to find this now.
You can try to pull it up. I don't know, because the link might be directly to my LinkedIn profile, which you probably don't have access to. But
there's.
okay. The LinkedIn kind of project was something that Justin actually talked about as a way for us to connect currently Mary Rowers with our alumni. And kind of, we thought this might be a good venue, although I don't know how much it's used yet, which is currently the problem. I think we have 12 people signed up for it on there, so we need more, both current student buy-in and alumni. But we're hoping to just match up people with mutual interests, kind of get a feel for students who would be interested in a mentor and people who'd be interested in mentoring who have similar desires. I don't know, people who want to go to grad school, med school, law school, people who are looking for a job in DC, Philly, just like use the rowing network for more than just rowing. So Justin and I think it's a good idea. I don't really know what the vibe is from the current team, but just know that it's there. We will send out more links to it to join up. I think most people at this point probably have a LinkedIn account, even if they don't use it. But it's a good way to kind of get involved. I know the William Mary Rowing Team LinkedIn profile has had a little bit of use. So this is just another subgroup of that original one. So does anyone have any questions on that? It's not necessarily a committee unless anyone kind of wants to work on it with Justin and I to help kind of market it to everyone, but just know it's there.
The next one is actually an idea proposed by Matt Connell, who helps with the bylaws, but he is not here right now because he had a work call. He might show up. But he created this PowerPoint, not me. And he's brought this idea to our board, but he would like to officially propose it to everyone. And the main idea is to hold a golf fundraiser this fall. And so the idea is to generate income for us, strengthen ties between the club, organization, WBC, and the community, and have parents be involved with FWR, because that's been a problem with us in the past, as you can tell by the donor demographics. So the tentative date is Parents Weekend, so it's September 21st. The venue is something that Mark and Matt are actually investigating this weekend.
Yeah, we're going to Williamsburg National, Kings Mill, and Golden Horseshoe tomorrow to talk to the golf pros, get quotes on pricing, and just to kind of see what they can offer us and see what works best. So we're gonna probably nail that down tomorrow.
It's a scramble golf tournament. For those of you who golf, you might know what that means. I don't. The idea is that we'll have golfers pay entry fees, as well as trying to get sponsors for help offset the costs. The main heads would be Mark and Matt, and the committee will be divided into two subcommittees, which are sales and events, and they will have very different roles. For those of you who don't know Sean Gillick, he is a active FWR member here who Matt loves to poke fun at. But the sales subcommittee will focus on the budget development and pricing of the actual event, as well as working with golfers to get the registration. They will be the ones soliciting sponsorships from local businesses and from friends, as well as advertising through the appropriate channels, doing the planning. The event subcommittee will deal with what course we choose, getting insurance. Part of the insurance is you can have people pay $50 if they get a hole-in-one, they win $50,000 or something like that, and you pay an insurance company who's run the numbers and knows the actuarial tables or whatever, and we'll cover the $50,000 if you pay them a couple hundred or whatever it works out to be. They will develop the event schedule and mid-round games competitions like we talked about, the hole-in-one. I'm sure there's longest drive, competitions like that you can get people to buy into and return their golf fee, and then with all these other add-ons, you can raise a couple $100 off of each person. Prize selection, trophy, stuff like that. Merchandise, design, production, and the people who help on the day of the tournament, who drive around in golf carts, giving people drinks and making sure things go smoothly. So the sales subcommittee, if you remember the previous assignments from the other slide, will be overseen by Mark, with Travis, Anthea, myself, Sean Cobley, Nathan, Mike Maddox, and you guys who are interested. Again, if you see your name up here and you're surprised, because Matt figured you would be good at it, and he's put your name forward. This is a good deal of work. In order to run a successful golf tournament, you need to make sure you work hard. It could very easily turn out to be a dud, and we're putting down a deposit on a course in the near future. Matt Connell is donating that, but there is some cost you have to outlay. So it's not like we can just, oh, we'll do it, and if we don't do it well, it's okay. If we don't do it well, we're going to lose money. So these people will serve vital roles in the success. Now, Matt isn't here right now, but he ran the numbers and he talked to a local golf pro, and it is not unreasonable for tournaments like this to generate 5 figures in funds. So it could very well be FWR's biggest fundraiser each year, and it could compete with the summer camp for William & Mary. And when you talk about this endowment fund where we need this $50,000 seed, it could be the difference between this fund taking 20 years to mature and this fund maturing within the next 2 or 3 years. So that's the main reason why Matt wants to pursue this idea. The event subcommittee will be overseen by Matt. The proposed members are listed here. Again, if you see your name, he was complimented, he thought you'd be good. But if you want to volunteer and you think you're strong and you think you maybe have family who know the sport of golf, or you just think you're good at getting sponsors, let us know. It's definitely something that we're going to want all the volunteers we can get. So he's going over here the how we make money, and tournament entry fees, which think will be around $100, maybe less, maybe more. Then you get sponsors. You get an overall event sponsor, like UCrops does the athletics department golf tournament. Then you get individual hole sponsors. Then you have the contest, the hole-in-one, longest drive contest. Cart sponsors. Silent auction, like the one we had at the boathouse. People to donate items to help out with that. Course competitions, like I mentioned. So there are a lot of ways for us to make money off this, and it adds up to something significant. And I know members of this board have talked about in their past other organizations they've been involved with having successful golf fundraisers. Now, everything I'm reading online says you should do a golf fundraiser. It's great. But I'm also reading that it's a lot of work and that if you don't do it right, it bombs. So this is a big undertaking that Matt's suggesting. This is a nice thing that he added that I think is great. If you want to purchase a mulligan, you pay the team, stuff like that. A nice way to $5, $10 add up and increase revenue. So what I was talking about, that there is outlays before we could do this. You have the course fees, which in theory should be covered by the entry fees itself. Then you also have insurance, the gifts, the prizes, the advertising, the signage that goes along with it. So it's something that we're going to need to raise money in order to even attempt. And these are the venues that Mark and Matt are scoping out. I believe you have a meeting with all of them tomorrow?
Yeah, all of them tomorrow. Definitely.
One thing that I should add is that the Parents Weekend, there is a tournament we are competing with. However, their tournament is for the people who donate a lot of money to William & Mary varsity sports. So there is overlap there, but the fact is their tournament is much more exclusive and they're not open to the general parents. So we're hoping that with one golf course close in the area, there's going to be more pressure on local golfers to try and find a place to golf. That with all the parents coming in, we can get parents who aren't connected to the team wanting to golf with their kids. With your parents coming in, the parents from FWR will join in and just push it that way to get enough people to join. Again, we need about 80 to 100 golfers. Okay.
Okay. Travis is gonna call in now, and I'm gonna try and put him on speakerphone to go over the financials. So let's see if that works.
Do we have a way to advertise that to parents of people who aren't on the team?
So this is a side note. With Kathy, I've been working on trying to reach the alumni magazine, and it goes out to 90,000 people. Unfortunately, they're aware of how awesome that is, and they would charge us $3,000 to advertise in it. But talking to the e-magazine guy, he said it wouldn't be a problem for us to put a blurb in there and get it for free. And I know the readership is down, but it's still significantly greater than the 800 contacts that FWR has.
Okay, Travis, go ahead.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Like this.
Just to kind of run through the financials and fundraising here pretty quick. Apologies for that signal reception. From an asset standpoint, we were doing pretty well at the end of the year. We ended the year with over $2,000 in endowment fund, which after really only the first year of operations, and not nearly as exciting of a push for the boat house like we had the boat house at the end there. It's a pretty good year all in all. We had our checking account wasn't as significant of a balance at the end of 2012 compared to 2011 based on the purchase of a new set of oars for WMRC during 2012. But still not bad, giving us enough money to kind of come into the start of 2013 and be pretty active, which I'll talk about in just a second here. In 2013, from an asset standpoint, I think our basic plan is to do away with the town bank checking account, which is kind of like a legacy account. Just has something down there in Williamsburg, but hasn't been very useful. And we're planning on opening a slightly more lucrative saving account for the endowment fund, and that's going to be building for a decent amount of time. And moving from 0.1% to 1% interest will be useful. On the next page, you can see kind of our income for the year. Sorry, let's flip to that page on my own here. And then basically, if you're looking at the income for the year, we had good house fund, but then the next thing we had was, the endowment fund, and then we also had a fair amount of non-dedicated donations. All this stuff really goes into just buying oars, doing this sort of thing. The big push is still to kind of get some subscribers going. You can see down towards the bottom of the income statement, you got 15 subscribers this year versus 10 last year. And that is really contributing a lot of benefit. I think just to give some context, paying $10 a subscriber is donating translates into like the equivalent of $2,400 in an endowment fund, just based on the kind of regular contributions that they're making. That's in 2013. The biggest thing so far has been about $950 disbursements towards new equipment, cox boxes, that sort of thing. And most recently, with the donation of the new cox box from my Jefferson, we're preparing to send a check for that to Dean. Or is there anything else on there that I kind of forgot? I can't see that stuff at the same time.
I don't think so. Is there a next slide or is that?
That's all for the financials.
Yeah. No, that's good. Does anyone have questions for Travis about financials? Okay. Yeah, you're good. Thank you.
All right, sorry for the tax issues.
All right, no problem. Thanks. Okay.
Did everyone hear him? Anyone have questions what he was saying about the subscriptions? The numbers are up, but the total's the same because we lost some people who were contributing a lot, basically.
That was going to be my question. How are we doing the subscriptions? Do we do them through the online site now, or okay? Because I was meaning to check that out.
So if you click donate online, you'll get one-time subscription, and then there's a subscriptions category by itself. And if you look at any exclusive content, Ryan pointed this out, the links now work where when it says this is for members only, please donate or subscribe, you can click subscribe. That's, like he was talking about, something that continues to be our best.
Yeah, that's generally been our biggest donation, as far as income for the friends, and we're getting more and more alumni to subscribe, and $10 a month, $20 a month goes a long way, even less. So people you know, graduating or alumni. Can always offer that to them. But yeah, that's generally been our biggest source of income up until our recent projects. So
That's why we're prioritizing with the members' content and the mugs.
People who give on a monthly basis, they set it up automatically to be have a credit
Yeah,
card or
automatic.
checking account.
it's done through PayPal, right?
It could be
Right
as low
now.
as $5.
So okay, WMRC got our two coaches here, and then Logan. I don't know which one of you wanted to.
Start coach.
Hey, go for it.
Oh, you
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So since I haven't talked to all of you guys before, but I know we had a chance to talk with a lot of the friends of the board through that webinar at the beginning of the year. And bottom line is we're in much better shape than the last time we talked to you. Having kind of skirted the edge of what we thought looked like a really bad situation, dealt with it through a series of structural changes on our end and some help from you guys and from Rec Sports. On our end, I think the biggest kind of change from having not been in this kind of meeting last year, I think the general trend in how our exec board is trying to interact with the friends, with Williamsburg, with the campus in general, is moving towards thinking of ourselves more as a program, more as an institution, and not just a team. Which I think lines up a little bit more with the vision of what you guys have as somebody who's building multiple generations of rowers contributing something. And I think has a lot to do also with building on the coach's vision coming from a program much more established than ours. So on that kind of end, I think we've done a lot to kind of build on institutional memory, make things more organized. In dealing with the fiscal problems at the beginning of the year, a lot of that was setting up a schedule of payments that was much more regulated, making sure that dues are actually collected in full, enforcing that. I think that was our biggest issue when we kind of got in this year, and something we presented to you guys before is that what we kind of discovered when we started going through the records is that just in terms of uncollected dues, we were losing close to 70, like thousands of dollars a year. We worked out different numbers, Ashley.
Between 5 and 7,000 a year.
Yeah. And so, having gone from a state where we budgeted for expenses that we thought we could pay for without making sure the revenue was actually there, I think we're at a point now where coaching expectations, the collection methods, those kind of things are set up to where we make decisions based on the money we have and the money is actually there. So that's an institutional change. Also on that note, we've had just in the last few months kind of awesome cooperation from Rec Sports, as you got to hear some from Linda. She's gone out of her way, again, as she has done in the past, to help us, making sure that we got kind of a higher set of funding than other clubs do, but also providing us with opportunities for kind of doing additional work for recreational sports when they need it. They had us clear out part of the recreational facility, clearing out right within the erg room, the part of the erg room that did not have our stuff in it. They gave us 2 days notice to come clean it out, showed up, we got all 50 people there. And Linda was so impressed by that we now have vehicle rental from the rec free for the rest of the year. So that's cut down on cost immensely too. So that's a good example of how just when we go out of our way to make ourselves look like a serious institution to them and one who can, step up to the plate and prove why we add something to school, they repay us. So I guess on the kind of institutional side, those are the main things, is that we're off the cliff, we're moving forward. In terms of the performance side, I think from my perspective, and Coach can probably add more to this, I think Erg Sprints was very successful, ran really smoothly. Attendance was high, I think you can be even higher. Ran without any problems. It got up, I think having it back in a venue that's so public in the rec, where it's kind of behind glass, got a ton of attention by just tourists coming in and out, students who were there during the day. We had a lot of people come down and ask about what it was. So even if these aren't people who get recruited to us, that's fine. It's just another one of those things where we're just there, and having a presence is important. So we had Erg Sprints, and then we had today, and I think we had some squads today that did a pretty awesome job all around. Some of you alumni also got a chance to do some rowings. That's nice. But I guess that's where we're caught up, Coach, from your end.
I think you pretty much summed everything up pretty well. That's a pretty good kind of summary of how everything's been going. Again, along with the idea of making us look like more of a of a serious program. And as Logan had mentioned with Linda, it seems to really kind of reciprocate. The more we show her that we are here and we do give something back to the school, it just gets paid back to us, along with, like, her giving us opportunities to do work for her, and now the band rentals being free for the rest of the year. I mean, I guess if you guys have any other specific questions, other than that, I think Logan summed it up pretty well.
One thing that we've talked about, but I think would be appropriate to share here, is the summer camp, because that's traditionally been our biggest fundraiser as a team. So how's that going so far?
Right now, it's pretty much the papers are getting signed and turned in tomorrow or by Monday. So all that'll be locked in. I think right now we're at about 25 or 26 signed up already. I know most of them don't get signed up till the last month or so before. So usually we get about 2 or 3 signups per week right now. So it seems like that's all in line to be another successful summer. So
Are you guys still on the 3-week program?
yes.
One thing that I forgot to mention that deserves mentioning is that Jason, Graham, Mike, and Anna have been the ones supplying me with the information for the exclusive content. And without their help and them responding to emails, the race lineups, that wouldn't be possible. So they're willing to help us open up our base with the subscribers, and they've been great about getting on board and working together with us on that front. If you haven't seen the videos, let me know. I'll give you a password. They're pretty awesome.
Something I forgot to add just before we talked about the golf tournament. I know we kicked around the idea of pretty much just last week is when we first started is kind of consolidating, having that amount of people there for Parents Weekend and doing the Chick Chase that Sunday. And so having this weekend where you're already going to have a lot of traffic in and out, people who are here to do something with the team, and having that date locked in earlier, if we can clear that now, hopefully gets the attendance back where we would like it. Kind of moving to a place where in the next few years you have as high attendance as a Virginia Regatta for the Chick Chase as you would for Rockets, and it's not something where a week or 2 hours scrambling to make sure Liberty can make it. So we're hoping to formalize that in the next few weeks, add it to the golf tournament, have Parents Weekend be a much bigger deal, and use it to our advantage.
What day would the race be? Saturday?
That'd be the Sunday.
Sunday.
To avoid, because we wouldn't want to compete with having rowers help staff that and race, because I mean we want them to be able to work at both without taking all the time.
It's also a nice way for you to have dock masters.
Yeah,
alumni.
me too.
Yes.
That's always been a problem in the past.
Any questions for coaches? Could you go over again your schedule for this year? I know Cyrus is your next race. The Liberty Duel didn't get.
The Liberty Duel is still kind of. They know they need to make the trip here this year, so it depends on pretty much if they can make it. There was a lot of schools this year in Virginia, Liberty being one of them, Virginia Tech, Virginia, that were trying to organize another type of Virginia Regatta. As you can assume, all of them trying to schedule the same event, and it turned out nobody scheduled it. So we've been working with Liberty again a little more solidly. It's still kind of in the air if they can travel or not. I guess depends on what their rec sport says and if they can actually make the travel. For them, I think the big thing being they would have to use one of their buses, which puts a big hit on their budget. So it's still kind of a toss-up. If not that, then the next one would be Dad Bales.
There's also the novice men are going to on
Oh, yeah. That being put in pretty last minute because of all the Virginia regattas kind of falling through. We introduced it last week, the novice men being the only squad that can have all the members actually go. So the novice members will go represent us at that event.
And then Acros after Bales.
Yep, and Acros 2 weeks after that. Is that May 20?
25th, 26th.
Yeah. So 2 weeks after Dad Bales.
All right. Move on to elections.
Well, actually, We skipped one of the committees. My committee.
Well, go ahead, please.
It's actually not my committee at all. But for those of you, there were a few of us at Head of the Charles this past year that actually Justin helped out with this as well. We put together kind of a alumni viewing of the races. We could all watch William Mary Rowe at the same time, and then we all went out that night. And I kind of thought that might be a good thing for us to try to do moving forward for both away regattas and then ones that are not as away, like Richmond, to kind of just have like a committee, just a group of people that are interested in, gathering people who live in the area. I mean, there are people who live in Boston, Philly, DC areas that would travel if they knew that something was going on. So that's just something we're looking to do moving forward. And if you're interested in helping plan those things, it's as simple as, picking a restaurant and or bar and just like getting the information out there, letting people know that it's there, that there will at least be one other person for them to meet up with and reminisce about the good old days in college. So that's something that we're looking to continue to do and not just have it be a one-time thing. So that's the social committee. Thanks for going back, guys.
No problem. Okay, so elections.
First, we mentioned the voting rights. We have a list. We also will allow people to sign up. Again, it's a $5 subscription. If you want to sign up for it today, that will get you voting rights at this meeting. We can also take pledges, but it's really easy to do. Just go to our website and do it now.
Do we have a list of who can vote?
Lisa does. Also, traditionally, and it's now officially in our bylaws, graduating seniors get to vote, and honorary members have been extended to the coaches. We're here.
Do I have to read the list?
No, not right now. For those of you who don't know, do you want to go over the organization structure?
You can.
So we have 12 directors. 4 of them are elected each year, and they will serve a 3-year term. Directors, you don't have to be a fiduciary advisor. I know nothing about money. I just happen to be able to devote an enormous amount of time because I'm in grad school still. So don't feel like you have to know how to handle large sums. We have people who can do that. We go to advisors for that. But you have to regularly attend meetings. If you don't attend meetings, there's actually ways for you to lose your position. We haven't had to go that route in the past, but we'd hate to have to do that. And generally, directors set the pace for giving. That doesn't have to be money, but it's definitely giving of your time. The directors are the people who, when stuff needs to get done, that's who it falls to. So it's not just a nominal thing. You need to be proactive. You need to want to get involved. You also have to be okay with contacting people and letting them know that the team needs a Cox box or they were looking to bring up subscribers. And all our directors so far have been great with that. But if that's something that makes you uncomfortable, this might not be the best position for you.
Questions on directors?
Who are the current directors?
The current directors are, this does not include or should include, I guess we'll include everyone right now. Mark, TJ, myself, Travis Moore, Michael Zort, Anthea, Woody, Sean Blaney, Justin, Travis Hall, Sean Copley, Emily Schultz.
This is separate from our exec board. Our exec board will be voted on after. So if you want to run for a position in the exec board, you have to be a director.
And who were, you have the list of the 4 people?
You.
Oh, just the 4 exec board.
I forgot. How long does the exec board, is it yearly or is it?
The exec board is every year from the pool of directors. But speaking from experience, you don't have to be an executive board member to stay in the loop or to be active. Justin did that LinkedIn thing on his own. We've had people get involved. DeWart's been very helpful with the website. And
Matt Connell's not a director. He's been helping, so
don't feel this is a barrier for you participating in any way.
in voting, just to save time, we're just going to do a show of hands for do nominations, and then show of hands for who is in favor for which candidate, and then we've got a spot online for people to raise their hand digitally to show what who they go for. So we open up for nominations or
Is Alex on the call?
No.
Alex has expressed interest to me personally for wanting to be a director. I'll nominate him, even in his absence, because I know for a fact that he wants to help out.
Emily seconds.
Okay, so Alex is on. I also nominate Mark.
I'll second that.
nominate TJ.
I'm not coming up this
Oh,
year.
no, he's not coming up this year.
You're not coming?
Duarte. I nominate Duarte. Sorry.
Oh, there we go. Travis.
Anyone?
Oh, I second you.
I also nominate Woody.
Second.
Xanthion. I nominate her.
I'll second Anthea.
Okay. Anyone? We usually like to get some graduating people. Sparry?
I nominate Kate Nolan.
Second. Second.
Should I have to accept the nomination?
Do you accept?
Sure.
I nominate Jamie Lewis.
You have to be careful because we understand that you guys are here because it's in Williamsburg and you don't want to overrun it. I'm not trying to be discouraging, but if it were 4 seniors each year, it would not be representative of the whole base.
Close the floor for nominations.
Unless anyone online.
Anyone online have anything to add?
So we have Alex, me, Duarte, Woody, Anthea, Kate Nolan, Connor Finch. Is that right?
I want to write that on the board just so everyone can see.
Justin asked about Emma. Did she graduate?
I don't know.
Is Emma graduating? Ritabush? Yeah.
No.
She's not? Okay. Does Connell have any interest that you know of?
No, he told me he does not want to be a director. Is that everyone?
Sorry.
Mark, Duarte, Woody, Anthea, Alex, and Nolan.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
People online, we're going to go one at a time and just raise your hand using the raise your hand button, and I will count your vote.
Each voting person can vote for 4 because there are only 4 directors. So
Are you gonna have them talk or anything, or?
If you feel the need, if you want to talk, you can. Traditionally, we haven't, but I know some people feel that that's a problem, and especially if you have ideas or ways you want to contribute and you want to vocalize that.
I just don't know anyone except the researchers for all our 9 and 10 years.
So that'd probably be a good idea for people to talk about who they are and
it's only me, Duarte, Woody here, but
I
they
can.
will talk for, I don't know.
Talk loudly.
Give a brief.
For me, or for
Yeah, for you.
well, I'm just gonna say you can't, like Anthea's not here to defend herself, but
She can type anything she wants to say.
Yeah, I guess. I started rowing in 2004. I rowed all 4 years. Was the men's captain for 2 years, I was a vice president transportation president. Coached novice men 2 years after graduating. I've been involved with the Friends since graduating, and now the president for the second year. So that's Duarte, you wanna?
I started rowing my spring semester of my freshman year, and I was VP of fundraising this my senior year. And since then, I've been working on. I did work on the earlier version of the website, as TJ mentioned. Other than that,
Woodward?
I'm gonna let my actions speak for themselves. Nothing to add there. I was never president or everything that you had.
He was the varsity rower. What years?
I graduated in 05. 8 years ago, just about. Yep, that's it.
Anthea.
Does she want anything to add?
She's silent.
Is she on? Yes.
Anthony has previously served as vice president and secretary on the board in her last 3-year appointment. She's been very active.
She did a lot with fundraising, the website, contacts. She was what year? 05 also?
just curious, was she a rower or?
Rower.
Yes.
If you were at the Charles, you met her there. I believe you guys know Alex, the alums. He was the president the previous year. WRC, and he's, like I said, he told me to try and call in. He's already vocalized a desire to get involved.
I started rowing fall 2009, and I rowed all 4 years since. I was the novice women's captain, secretary, VP transportation, and I'm currently the varsity captain.
Just been rowing forever. Please do that.
Okay, that's good. So we'll start, I guess, the top.
I'm sorry, how did, so,
You,
for those
you had,
who have yet to subscribe,
Are you pledging?
are you asking me right now?
Yes.
I
We can-
am pledging.
We can accept a pledge. We'll just make sure that we handle that.
You'll be harassed.
Yep.
anyone else who's not a voting member would like to pledge to be able to vote?
Oh, heck, why not?
Can you pledge more for more votes?
No.
How much do you have?
Again, you're pledging for $50 one-time donation or $5 subscription.
Okay, good there. So you have 4 people you can vote for. Start at the top with me. If you would like me to be another director, raise your hand. Next, Michael Duarte. Stephen Woodward. Okay. Anthea Maiden. Alex Sullivan. Kate Nolan. And then Connor Finch.
Yeah.
And you got everyone online.
Oh yeah, I counted online.
Okay. So it's going to be the people who won: Alex, myself, Duarte, and Anthea. So they will be directors for another.
Three. That's 2016. Okay. Now, let me really quickly pull up the bylaws so you can get an idea for the exec board positions. I apologize for the appearance because I do not have a better copy than this. But these are highlighting the major changes. So starting with the president, basically it's what you would expect. Mark, do you have anything to add about what you see the role as?
I mean, not really most people know what the president is for most organizations. I mean, basically, you're the team or the group's leader, just like the WMRC. Help the directors, the exec board, organize and delegate, and always for the betterment of the team. No, not really much to add.
Okay. The vice president's main job is to organize meetings and to manage the website. In the past, we've tag teamed the website, and I expect that trend to continue, but really the buck stops with you. You need to know how to edit the WordPress site, which is pretty intuitive. You don't need to know going into it, but you have to be willing to learn. So keep that in mind. Liesl, let's talk about the secretary.
The secretary takes notes. I don't actually. I mean, pretty much they just hold the organization of the team. There was a lot of making sure contacts are up to date, working with the alumni coordinator, Erin, on William Mary Running Club, and just making sure that you're kind of sending out all emails, just all correspondence goes through the secretary pretty much. I think that's the bulk of it.
And Travis isn't here, and he's been our treasurer for how many years now?
For a long time. He's been probably the most involved member I can ever think of for the rowing organizations. He's an accountant, always deals with our money, very thorough.
Oversees the multiple accounts.
He oversees multiple accounts, checking account, this spreadsheet that we gave, based on the financials.
And he does a good job of making it anonymous. I know how much money is coming in, but I have no idea who's giving. He respects people's privacy like that. So that's part of this job. Another thing that we've done as a board this year that isn't in the bylaws, but something I would hope to see continued, is we've sort of taken on more of a mentoring role to individuals of WMRC. Mark has been in town, it's been great attending their meetings. Travis has worked to set up a mint.com account to oversee the financials. Liesl and Erin are in contact, organizing the emails and other things. And Kathy has been great, talking to me about ideas and asked me about fundraisers we've done in the past. So
that screen isn't up right now for them.
Oh, so hopefully you do want to continue that if you're seeking one of these officer positions.
Okay, we got nominations for each one.
Do you want to do starting at the top? Or?
Yeah, I would. I've been president for a couple years now, but I would like to nominate TJ for this year as president. I think he's done a great job.
I'll second that.
Can you pull up the list?
I don't have a list that's reflective of this year's current members, so you have to add to it. These four in place of the class of 2013. I'd like to nominate Liesel.
No, thanks.
Mark?
Well, I'm gonna decline just because I'm nominating TJ because I think he deserves it. It's very hardworking and put in a lot of time this year. So
I would like to stay with the website though, because I feel being far away is one of the few things that I could actually contribute to. If you
decline, then I'll still run for president.
Then I decline.
Okay. Fair enough. Then I'll accept.
Any other? Second. You can run for multiple positions too.
We're gonna vote on this.
We will start with the top down voting.
He doesn't accept.
Miller Hall.
This is Mark Miller on the tour.
Okay, so we don't have to vote on that one.
We should still vote.
I want to say that I think Mark's location here makes him uniquely qualified for this position. And I think he's proven himself to be a great asset to both the team and friends by being on call and willing to help out.
Pretty much you're stuck with it, even though trying to get rid of it.
Well, I mean, I didn't know he was so adamant about. I didn't know he was so adamant about the website. So. No, I do. Okay, so vice presidency, I nominate this guy.
Any other nominations?
Justin accepts the nomination.
Let me see. No.
Anyone have any other nominations? Okay. Congratulations. Secretary, I'd like to nominate Liesel.
I would second.
Gee, thanks.
I don't think Justin wants that one either.
Is anyone on the line nominating anyone?
No, so far. Make sure you talk loudly. Justin can't hear you.
Tell him we're laughing.
That's usually
Chelsea,
no
we didn't
problem.
nominate you again.
Okay, if there's no nominations.
I'm asking him if he wants to be secretary.
Verbatim, damn it.
He said that's my job. Okay.
Okay, moving on to the treasurer, I'd like to nominate Travis. I
I'll
think
second
it's
that.
fully the most capable person in my opinion. Okay, congratulations, Travis.
That's really exciting.
That being said, if you are a director, we have embraced technology with Google plus Hangouts and this stuff, so you will be involved in the conversation. And we've also tried to establish a regular monthly meeting, so don't feel like you were just shut out of being involved. I appreciate the vote of confidence in this board. I think I'm proud of the other people and what we've got accomplished this year. So. Moving on to open floor.
Blaney votes for Travis. He just emailed me to say his phone died. He votes for Travis.
You're talking about you need a logo. Anyone contact Olivia?
Oh, yeah,
She did do it. I'll talk to her. She's in town.
Yeah, you got.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And if you want to putz around with Photoshop,
The eyes on logo.
We take one of these and pass it down. Everyone, I'll explain it this.
Now, I know we threw a lot out to you with the loves of membership, the new website, and particularly the golf outing. I think that conversation needs to be explored here.
This is kind of a question as a soon-to-be alumni. How often do you guys send stuff out? Because I know you've had the Surge kind of newsletter attached, but is there any kind of like weekly update email or any kind of more frequent communication, or is it really just a newsletter once a semester and like annual meeting?
We send out Surge. We've joined it with Backsplash, and but most of our outreach has been now through Facebook and on our website. So we send updates, Twitter updates, and Facebook is how we mainly stay in contact and show what we're working with. But yeah, we do send out Surge with Backsplash. It's twice biannual, or
yeah.
We're already on two.
Yeah, we're already on two. So that's besides the newsletter, social media. That's how we get the word out. So
Every website update is linked, so it's not like you have to manage your accounts. And also the people who are older, we don't have emails for. Travis will send hard copies of the Surge to them by mail. So if you're worried about that disconnect between the technology, we try and cover it.
No, just more for like, I would say, involved and know what's going on. I didn't know if there's more than what's going on Facebook.
Do the older alums get sent the newsletters as well, or just Surge?
It's attached. They get okay. The listserv that Lisa will compile, she'll be able to talk about that. I think that's our entire contact is on there.
I think, yeah, we've worked to make it as updated as possible. I, for some reason, can't access it, so they all go through William and Mary. But it should be all alumni, going back until as far as we could. And I tried to search as much as I could to get all of the older alumni as well, the ones that were on the Alumni Association website and whatnot. Sent out a ton of emails, tried to get people to respond. Got a good amount of response. So it's pretty much as up to date as I think we could get it right now.
And if you're wondering about the frequency, you can see these are the planned updates we already have. So we have about once a week, once every 2 weeks at least. If you want to stay involved, there would be no excuse for you to not be informed if you follow our website and Facebook.
And the data that I think TJ mentioned earlier has shown that we get the biggest response from Facebook, and that's why we are using it the most. Even when emails do go out to like the broad listserv, we get very few clicks from those those emails as we do from people clicking off of Facebook to get to our website. So we've just found that it's the most successful. Plus, we don't want to flood inboxes.
800 people. We don't want to spam it, and I feel like Facebook people don't mind when people post on Facebook as much, so we haven't reached a saturation point. And I feel if we were to do weekly emails, we could reach a saturation point with our listserv.
I had two questions unrelated. For the golf tournament, you mentioned that would you be using William Mary Rowing Club members to help out at that? Okay.
Yes.
Because I was thinking like, I know that a lot of golf courses, they have their own caddies and things like that, but
it's going to be pretty involved. Not only getting flyers out, caddies, different holes we can set up, different things like, I don't know, little raffles or a competition, or you can have the team dress up stupidly and like, I don't know, just do all kind, just make it really fun. But we need bodies, so it's going to be pretty involved. So we need to talk with you guys later, Logan, about the Parents Weekend and regatta and stuff. But yeah, we're gonna need probably as many people as we can get.
And the second thing I was going to ask is, I'm sure that you guys have gone back in the records, but like just looking people up on Facebook and inviting them to the, I imagine you guys have done that.
Facebook now charges you to message people, and if you're not friends with them, it's very frustrating and unfortunate. I've tried friending not Stephen Woodward, the other Woody, who did the Erg Springs.
There is no other Woody.
Oh, one of the Erg Springs?
Denton Woodward.
Okay.
And I've tried to, every of the older alums, if they message me with pictures, I would thank them and I would say, hey, do you mind inviting your Facebook friends?
So that's what I figured, if you got pictures from back then, that you were in contact. So I mean, I don't know how in contact they are with everybody, because like it was before Facebook and social media and things like this.
I think one of the hardest things is I have friends of mine from my class here who I know there's no excuse. I sent them invitations and they still haven't joined. I think it would be helpful if we could get them while they're still here. Maybe get some of those 300 William & Mary people. And I think the sharing that we've been doing between our pages will only facilitate that. But there's still room to grow.
Liesl, for the social committee,
Yes.
have you considered doing something in the summer months when, like a DC, Nova, locale event, where it's just like,
I haven't because I don't live there, but if you want to, it'd be great. Not this summer though, because you're in Boston.
right. Well, the idea being like when students are home in Nova, or when maybe we can do it near a weekend when everyone's back visiting families. I mean, there is a lot of presence in DC divorced from families anyways. Not necessarily to make money, but just to like work on that. Because I mean, it's nice to sometimes have those events where they're not asking you for money and you can just like be friends.
But just something that's not regatta central, just
Right.
like,
Right.
yeah.
And
That's a good
then
idea.
we have that huge
Yeah.
break in summer. You had no donations over the summer.
Remind people that we're still around. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And I've already mentioned this briefly, but just again, for October, I'm thinking a $50 to $100 buy-in for fantasy football. Get 10 people to join. Get enough money, you get seat naming rights. So that would be for that right now. Turns out that people like combining gambling with charity.
Question again about the social committee stuff. How was that advertised on the Friends website? Like upcoming social events? Do you have like a social events tab on there?
Do we have a social?
There is a
tab?
calendar.
Oh, there's a calendar. Yeah.
It's something that we're working on, and that's why she brought up looking for someone to step up and fill the role. But it's,
I mean,
the
I'm
building part of what we're doing.
I'm more than happy to help plan the ones I'm going to be at. It's more difficult if I'm not going to be there. So,
It's just you have to ask.
right. So just have to solicit someone for regattas. But as far as like the upcoming ones, I mean, we could do it for the next few races that are coming up. If there are people in that area, alumni who are going to be there, or parents who are going to be there and want to do something that night or something.
I was actually thinking more along the lines of what Matt was talking about, not maybe doing this for the big regattas. And I don't know how many alumni you're going to get in around, say, Oak Ridge, Tennessee. But something like doing a Friday night of Danville's in Philadelphia, having like an alumni happy hour or something like that in Philadelphia, or having something in Boston or DC or New York cities where there are lots of alumni. I'm the president of the Middlebury Williams Alumni Association, so this is something that we do and have gotten into more of as we've actually put stuff together for them last year. So it's
Okay.
it works pretty well.
Okay, sounds good.
So I'm going to go back to the golf breakdown of the two committees, and I'm just going to flat out solicit people because this is where we need to leave this meeting with a good game plan if we're going to pursue this idea. So if you see yourself falling in with one of either the sales or the event, speak now. And
Well, before we do that, what is everyone's feedback on the golf tournament?
That's another thing.
Seems like a good idea as long as we can get people not necessarily associated with the team interested, and that's contingent upon getting the word out
somehow, whether it's the e-newsletter or flyers around campus, or I'm sure there would be parents interested who are coming.
Yeah, if the number is 80 to 100 that we're targeting, parents of current rowers are going to be key to just to get some kind of base, but yeah, non-rowing.
We could probably get like 20 or something. Get rowers.
And we're also aware that freshman parents tend to be the ones who frequent those weekends, and we would need to get contact information immediately to invite them as soon as they sign up, even if they don't join.
I was thinking something we could do or get the team to do to help is create a little flyer, and when you do work weekends for local families, to offer them, say, hey, we're doing this, and kind of build up, because we ultimately want locals to be doing it too. There's a lot of old golfers, I'm sure, that would help or do it.
And do you advertise at the hotels? Make a brochure, like they have attraction brochure layouts, particularly at the nicer ones, I imagine, the nicer the hotel, which is like, I guess the whole house is moving around again. Like, you gotta
And depending on the price, we could get students too. If we talk to is there a William Mary golf team? Hit up them, see.
Well, there might be a conflict of interest because I actually don't know, but what I have read about the athletics golf tournament is it's the same weekend, but you have to be one of those special people who get those special parking and special football tickets to get into. So I don't think the average alum is going to have access to it, and I think that shutting down a golf course to locals that weekend would only encourage other locals to go to ours.
Would you consider a reduced price for students?
So one of the things we talked about was discounts for current donors as far as basic thing, and for like students and stuff like that, we could maybe do a tiered cost.
And trying to graduate students too, because they're not gonna, their parents aren't gonna be in town that weekend. But at the same time, they're older. I have more money to blow. They're in town.
Is this something, do you have to like bring your own like golf clubs and stuff, or is this something a parent can just decide on a whim that they want to do when they're down here?
They need to have their own clubs.
Is there a way we could use that in Braintree? Because like, what if a parent's just in Williamsburg with a kid and they say, oh wow, I love golf, but I didn't bring my golf clubs with me.
I mean, most courses will probably do that.
Yeah, I'll talk to people tomorrow. I'll bring it up with Reynolds, because I don't know how they do that. I just, yeah, okay.
But with this, a scramble is where like you hit the ball, one ball each one hit the best ball. Yeah. So I mean,
That's best ball.
Yeah.
They call it best ball. One's the scramble.
I have to look it up.
I don't know.
We need Connell here.
It's something like that, like Captain's Choice Best Ball. So it's well.
You and I could use the same set of golf clubs. I don't play golf.
If you don't play golf, probably.
Limitations on that where you need like your own personal set.
And this is something that Connell mentioned as you could sell if someone had a bad hit, they wanted the golf club's pro to hit their ball. That's something you could charge $25 a hit. They take 10, we take 10, stuff like that. I think the point Liesel's trying to address is, in her experience, her high school, you want to talk about that? Their golf tournament, what you've heard?
Well, I've heard that it's a lot of work to get done by September. That the biggest, I don't know, I have reservations about this in general, just because it is a ton of work and we don't have that many people in Williamsburg. I mean, I don't want Mark to be handling all of this. So that's my biggest concern. I think it could be great. My school growing up has done it for many, many years, but they actually found after a couple of years that they were not making nearly the amount that of time and energy and money they were putting in. So they ended up hiring a professional. I guess that's an option. And they did end up making a ton once they hired him. But my biggest fear with this is that if we are going to get donations and sponsors, it needs to be good, because the sponsors will be local. And if we burn them after one time, they're not going to try to help us again. And with such a small pod of money options in Williamsburg, we don't want to burn any bridges. So we need to make sure it's good. And September is sooner than we think, especially since all the students are gone during the summer, so we can't count on them to help. And it really is going to take a huge team buy-in, because we need people going door to door in Williamsburg to get sponsors, to get whole sponsorships, to get donations for gift baskets. I mean, it's a lot of work for everyone involved.
I guess one thought in getting sponsors, we are competing with all the other festivities around then.
It's not homecoming, it's parents.
Oh, isn't?
So it's
It's like a month apart.
It's the U Crops.
Homecoming's October.
U Crops, William Mary Athletics, golf, whatever it's called. But if U Crops sponsors this, we probably wouldn't be able to get them to do us.
Yeah, no, aside from like a football game, I don't really know what else happens on that weekend, so that's perfect. Yeah.
Is like when you say it has to go well, does go well mean we get 80 to 100 people to sign up and do it? Is that what go well is? Is that our big concern?
I don't want to speak for Connell, but I think what he's said was that the cost, you make your money on the sponsorships and the extras, but the cost of the actual golf should be included in the fees, where the people themselves, it's not like we're going to lose money on that end of it. We're going to lose money if we have a deposit and no one registers and we have to eat our deposit.
So
but
is that our biggest concern? Like getting the people to go, or is it getting the sponsors, or what's the big concern?
I think
like both those. You need to have people to play, but then also have sponsors. Oh, those are only the two biggest things you need to do.
Would there be a way to like send out feelers, like get people like pre-registered at a discounted price like now, and then if you get enough pre-registered interest, then you go to your sponsors or potential sponsors? And I mean, you don't necessarily have to like take the money from them, or I don't even know how you want to do it. Somehow commit them without fully committing them before you get your sponsors.
So here's, I hate to speak for Connell because he's the one who came up with the idea, but what I gathered is all we need now is a deposit. Connell is going to front the deposit as a gift to the friends. Moving forward, I think it would be only smart if we had a drop dead date where if we didn't get this many people by this date, we refund the sponsors, we get the money back, and we don't proceed. My concern is with Liesl, and I agree with what she's bringing up, which is why I think that the most important thing is before we leave this room now, we have clear defined groups about who's going to do what, and we can explore the options. And that we don't leave this room with everyone going, it's a great idea, and then there's no organization, it's hard to get in touch with people over email and the phone, and it falls on the shoulders of Mark and Connell, and it's too much for them. So I think we need to get the volunteers now.
Is that the next two steps is that we clarify who we're adding to the committees today and then set dates for either regular scheduled and or virtual meetings for those committees and say we're not going to keep talking in circles, we'll just do that.
Yeah, I think that's the best idea, with the idea that you go to Mark's committee, Connell's committee, and they communicate amongst each other about what needs to get done, and they have the manpower necessary.
I would like to be added to the event committee if I could be.
Well, if I could be on the sales committee, I would really like to do that, being the treasurer for currently. I think that would be a good place for me to help out.
I'm in Williamsburg until at least July, so sign me up for maybe event. I don't know.
I think events more local.
Put me up for event subcommittee, I suppose. Whatever you
I mean,
need.
really,
Yeah.
Graham and I can do either, because we're
Yeah.
gonna be here, and if we're with Mark, I mean, as long as someone tells us what to do, we can cover both sides of it. I mean,
Are there going to be rowers staying in town for the summer as well, I imagine?
But we also have to know that their main focus is their camp, and I don't want to detract from that.
Because I came in late, are we voting on committee members or just by?
You
just volunteer.
Okay.
I think you were thrown on one.
You can remove yourself. You're not locked in.
Without your
Team Edward.
Again, the idea is that this would be a 5-figure win for the tribe eventually, and it'll be a yearly thing. And if we're contributing 5 figures to the endowment each year, we'll get that seed fund, and that $50,000 will start paying for boats immediately.
Is there any way that somebody could help who might not be in Williamsburg?
Of course, phone, calling, email. Yeah.
I'm gonna try and do web stuff. I'm sure you could call hotels. You can talk to golf pros at your area, like ask them how they're doing things, stuff like that. Don't feel discouraged.
how would you like to do that?
Do you have a specific committee? Sales, I think, is better for. Actually, that's hard to say.
When either of them look like it'd be.
We can just put you on the email list for like idea generation and.
I would like to be on that.
Now, we don't want to, I know Kathy had talked to me about a silent auction in the fall. We don't want to overwhelm you guys. Are you okay with combining this and maybe doing the silent auction with the golf tournament?
I mean, if it would boost it at all, then we might as well, like you said, we need to make it something that's gonna be pretty successful. So if we need to do that, then we can do that.
I think maybe doing the raffle ticket thing that Nathan did with the boathouse would be a good idea too, where you buy raffles to get entered into larger prizes, and that way we don't have a silent auction where people don't buy things.
Right, because that was already part of that proposal, right? So I thought it fit as well.
Also, when else are we gonna get 80 to 100 people who are already willing to give money to the program in one place in person?
Exactly, and this is trying to land the big fish because we're all young and
yeah.
Sign up for the event.
Can we set it like a start date or a regular interval date for these two?
I think that's up to your committee chairs, Mark.
Just because, I mean.
Yeah, I agree.
From what limited experience I have with event planning, I mean, 6 months for something like this is already gonna be a really intense planning process. I mean, that's for an outfigure that big and for a number of people that big, I mean, this is gonna be, we start, I mean, as you guys have already done, starting now, so.
I want Mark and Connell to go to the golf clubs tomorrow with exactly an idea of how much manpower they have and what jobs they can get done, so when they talk to these people.
Yeah, and after tomorrow, I'll have a better idea. I've never done this, so and some of the people that we talk to, well, I'm sure we'll be able to help. So we can get everyone's email, talk tomorrow, and then send out something and let you guys know what we find. And
If
then,
on either committee there are common jobs that you can find out, see. I mean, I'd be happy helping out in class, but
Me.
I actually have to leave. I'm supposed to be
Yes,
working.
that's fine. Connell will actually be here in a little bit.
So he can take my spot, but gotta go to work. So thanks everyone for coming. Hopefully I'll see you at the delis.
For networking.
We're networking. I'm at college tonight, so.
This is unrelated. Thanks, Mark.
Okay, yep. See you guys.
I passed around a form that looks like this, but not filled out. I know it says alumni spotlight at the top, but that's kind of a lie. The website you might have noticed because we already had our first month go up. We're doing an alumni and a current rowers spotlight. Just kind of filling out these questions or any others you think are appropriate. For the current rowers, we would like, you can look at the one that's up there right now, but we also want to know like what your major is and what year you are. But we're going to do these every month. And so I thought if you could fill out the form and give it to me now, then I won't have to pester you over email, which is lots of fun. It's just easier to do it now. And I'll probably just steal your Facebook profile picture. If you don't like that one, I don't know why you have it up. But then you can send me a different one and I'll use that. We also will probably cycle in Williamsburg Boat Club people or someone else of interest. I got one from Linda Knight, so we'll put her up there for a month. And then they're all will be archived after each month. Just kind of a fun little personal note to have on the website. Thanks.
Again, if you can get the parents of the team to access the website, that would be great. If you have any complaints, any features you want to see, this was something that was suggested after our first draft, and that's why this is being incorporated. We'll be responsive.
Cobley wanted it done. This is what happens. If you're volunteered, you're going to be number one. So Cobley was the first spotlight. He's not here, though, but his face is on there. Does anyone else have anything else related to anything we've talked about today? Probably anything but financials, because I can't speak on that.
If you want to talk about it, I mean, I understand that from the picture, and it was hard for Travis because he wasn't here. It looks bleak because we raised $65,000 in 3 years before this. But that's because of the boathouse. The fact that we've already broken 2,000 this year alone is huge. So it's showing that our activity is working out, that the wish list, the March Madness campaigns, and the increased information between the member content and the surges, that's the way we need to keep going.
The target for that's 50 to 70 grand is what for the endowment?
The endowment fund was $50,000, and what happens when we reach $50,000 is that we're able to grow with the college's endowment, which is much more stable. And I was told that you could kind of expect 3 to 5% return. So that means when we get that much money, we can get 5%. So it means that if you were to give a gift to the endowment fund, every 20 years, you give the same amount. So it's a nice way to give forever, and the idea is that maybe people will do planned giving with their wills, and that if we get that fund up to enough money, that's a $5,000 a year return, that's your boats. You just plan your equipment upgrades on your endowment alone. And then you don't have to worry about, oh my God, we haven't bought a new 8 in like 6 years. It's no, we have enough money to buy a new 8 every 3 years, so we get a new 8 every 3 years. Right now it's at $2,000, and Travis was mentioning it's getting to the point where our own seed that we can put it in a money market account and start getting some interest on it. The problem is if we get it to $20,000 and it sits there, and then the friend says $20,000 that's not getting any closer, and we can't use it for the team's immediate needs. So that's why I think this golf tournament is a big idea, because it'll get us over that hump.
Yep.
And it'll get this money from being sitting there to being used in 2 or 3 years versus 20, which is at our current rate. So we went through your idea, and we've tried to nail down committees, and we've solicited volunteers.
Okay.
Is there anything you think that needs to be addressed with that besides what you outlined in the PowerPoint?
No, not really. I mean, at this point, we just need to get people together and start thinking what we need to do, what we need to do about it.
You have anything to? Anyone has anything to add? Speak now. Otherwise, enjoy the cupcakes and.
Please eat the cupcakes.
Funny was
Oh, thanks. The nests are peanut butter and chocolate. The pretzel things are cookie dough without egg inside pretzels. Please eat them. I don't want to travel through the airport with them again. Thank you guys for coming out. Network.
You are? No, who? Hold on.
You might be. I feel like I need to go. Being outside for like 8 hours. My sunburn.